Hello everyone, hopefully you can hear me. We are at the National Museum of the Mighty 8th Air Force located in Savannah, Georgia. This is the main building. You walk in there and buy a ticket. I believe it's $13 for adults, and we're going to be touring around the museum. But they also have some outside exhibits as well, which we will go look at now. So we have here a McDonnell Douglas F-4C Phantom. There's a plaque right over here we're gonna go take a look at. Give you a second to read all of that. You can pause if you'd like to read any further. And we're gonna go take a look around the airplane. It's a little wet over here. It is a overcast and cloudy day. It says Worth W. Boyster Jr. and Thomas D. Barnett restored this aircraft in 2017 to honor their U.S. Air Force Academy classmates on occasion of their 50th reunion. They were in the 23rd Cadet Squadron and later flew the F-4 in combat in Vietnam. Together they had over 450 combat missions. This is a very large airplane, and the camera does little to no justice of how big this thing is. Like, look at this. That is huge. The front landing gear and front landing lights. You have the absolutely massive air intakes for the engines. Really small landing gear up front. Like, they were really small. Or about maybe 3 or 4 times the size of my hand. You would think a massive aircraft this heavy and large would need a little bit bigger front landing gear to support it, but that is not the case. Large external fuel tanks, droppable fuel tanks, I suppose, on the aircraft. The exhaust outlets for the aircraft obviously blocked to try to keep animals and people from climbing in there. Large tail hook to catch wires on an aircraft carrier. It's a really beautiful aircraft. See the excited facial expression in the tail there. This is the aft section of the aircraft. As you can see, 2 external fuel pods and also relatively small landing gear on the back as well. Of course, you have the classic F-4 down slanted rear control surfaces. Gives an aircraft a very unique look. You wouldn't mistake this aircraft for anything else, that's for sure. And of course, the F-4s were a 2-man jet aircraft. You had a pilot and a radar intercept officer in the rear. But yes, this is the F-4 Phantom C. And let's go look at something it might have flown against in Vietnam. All right, so here we have, I believe this is a MiG-15. I'm gonna check the placard to make sure that is correct. And again, I'll give you some time to read this as well, or you could pause to read it. Sorry, this is a MiG-17, not a MiG-15. I do apologize for that. Once again, you can pause this to read if you'd like. We're going to move over to the aircraft now. So right off the bat, you can just see the size of that compared to this. This is incredibly smaller. This is a one-man aircraft. Sits way lower to the ground and has about the same size landing gear as well. That's one of the things I noticed on a trip here before, was these things have about the same size landing gear, but that's twice the size of this. Here we have the surfaces on the wing here. These are very neat. I enjoy these. These are very cool. And of course, the MiG-17 had air brakes. These you can see here. They're slightly pushed out. I presume they might have leaked out from years of sitting. This is a single exhaust, and you can see pretty much all the way in there. It's not closed up like the F4 is. Of course, you have the North Vietnam Air Force insignia on the side. It's a very small plane. It really is. Let's see if I can get y'all an in-cockpit view here. Maybe y'all can see in there. I think, hopefully. It's a small aircraft, but it's not so small that you can actually see in there without having some type of proper step up. Here we have the intake for the aircraft. Goes either side, of course, to make room for the pilot's tub for him to sit in. Very beautiful aircraft. But again, yes, this is a lot smaller than the massive F4. But very popular belief is that the F4 could outrun these things, which they could. The two jet engines that the F4 were equipped with were extremely powerful, and they could outrun these little MiGs. Well, at least the MiG-17s that I know of. So yeah, this is the MiG-17, and I don't know if you can see over there, we have a large tail section of another aircraft. That will be at near the end of the video. But now we're gonna go inside, get our ticket, and I will see y'all in there.
start that over. Okay, good. That's a like it says.
Okay, so that was the German majority of the exhibit, and now we're going to move on to the Japanese majority of the exhibit. Just imagine being an 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old kid, and these posters start popping up around your town, and you've heard the message that the Japanese have attacked, and now you've got to prepare to go to war with a country you may not even know exists. Absolutely insane. Superstructure section of the USS Arizona, which you can see burning there, and a sailor's cap. Looks like a laundry bag of some sorts, maybe. An aerial picture of Pearl Harbor. The names are kind of small, so I'll read them off. The California, Oklahoma, and Maryland. The Tennessee and West Virginia. It looks like the Arizona and the Vestal, and the Nevada. It's Battleship Row. This is a very, very cool piece here. The Masters of the Air show is about the 8th Air Force. So if you'd like to see some of those missions they went on, it's definitely a good series to check out.
They were never turned back from a mission. The weather would turn them back, recall would get them to come back, enemy action, fighters on fire, never turned the mighty back from going on to mission.
Working in unison with the British Royal Air Force Bomber Command and their fierce night area bombing, the 8th Air Force performed grueling and dangerous precision daylight bombings.
Tracking flak was probably the most dangerous, I would say. The barrage flak, you can see up ahead, it was ominous.
So this is where all the squadrons were stationed.
And carved its place in history and compiled an impressive combat record. Flying more than a quarter of all sorties home, they dropped 35% of all bombs delivered in World War II and got 42% of all.
There's a good list of aircrafts. We have B-17, P-38, P-47, B-24, P-51, and Spitfires. Information about every aircraft. Once again, feel free to pause at any point in time to read this stuff.
Most famous of all America's fighting forces in Vietnam, and its legacy goes on to this day. Its bravery and its courage and its endeavor.
During World War II,
This is a wing of a B-17. Or a wing section, I should say. Have a large model of a P-51 Mustang above. That's really cool. They have some great models in this museum, as well as actual aircraft. But wow, wouldn't that be nice to just have, you know, sitting in your living room? It's a great conversation piece. Once again, like I said, some really great models. I believe this one has lights, but it's not turned on at the moment. So we'll just get a walk around of it. These model B-17s here are all very well done, as well as the buildings and other aircraft models. We have a Mustang, Mosquito, Thunderbolt, Lightning, and another Thunderbolt over there. Very neat. Hangar / workshop. Planes could come in for service. This model is very reminiscent of the day. It's very dark and overcast. Maybe it's a true to life model. It emulates the weather outside. That would be neat. This was also a built-in replica of maybe a command building. This is a small Jeep-like vehicle. Give you time to read this. It's a pup dropped out of a C-47 Skytrain. Undergo test at Fort Benning, Georgia. It's like a little go-kart Jeep kind of thing. Very neat. Looks like it sits 2 people. Maybe a stretcher or something on the back. A couple of boxes of ammunition. Very neat. It's one of the most important pieces of a bomber aircraft, the Norden bombsight. Time to read that. Pause if you'd like. I'm gonna move over here. It's a sculpture. Looks like a large ball bearing, half of it anyway. Ball bearings here, then the outer rings. Very cool. Some weather / pressure equipment. their crews would use to get stuff ready for flights.
But the P-51 was like that. Oh, they're all over the head. Surprised that they didn't have
This is a B-17 full-scale replica. You can see the Nord bomb sight in the nose. All of these guns.
Because I said, I can take them in. I mean, I can have my own food to get in the plane. But I said, I guarantee, I know Tom for sure. And it's very
Very nice aircraft. Very, very nice. We have a motorcycle, probably a Harley Davidson or Indian or something like that. U.S. Army. Now look at the tires on this aircraft. Very huge. B-17, of course, is powered by 4 piston engines. These absolutely massive propellers. Look at that. My hand compared to that. Large. We have the lights turned on for it. We're gonna go check out what it'd be like to be a side gunner on a B-17. So this is like a little simulation of what it would be like to be in a B-17. Possibly having to shoot down a enemy gun or enemy plane. Let's see how good we are here. B-17 gunner simulation. Very squeaky. Oh, well then. Target practice, maybe? Shoot to select. Am I not? I don't think I'm seeing it. Maybe out, I don't know. But, as you can see there, it's a gun. And you could theoretically use it for training. It's more of a video game for children. Oxygen tank. Of course, this is the inside of, well, that. Very large, but very neat. I don't think you can pull this handle back. No. It's just a simple look and pull the trigger. All very analog as well. You see the springs. All right, as we move back this way of the B-17, we have a flight suit. That the crewmen would wear. Of course, they needed this when they got up to high altitudes. All of this fur lining. It was very cold. And of course, the B-17 was not pressurized. It was not warmed. It didn't have a heater. So it was extremely cold at 30,000 feet. As you can see, this B-17 is called the City of Savannah, the 5,000th airplane processed through Hunter Army Airfield in Georgia in 1944. We look up there, there's a model of a B-17. Pretty large model. It's like Studebaker. This is a R1820 Wright Cyclone radio aircraft engine. And this was the engine equipped in the B-17. So you see there's a list of other aircraft that it was in. Try to get that glare out of your way so you can see there. And they do have a workshop going on over there where they're working on some stuff. That's why that noise is there. This is the Allison V1710 engine. It's more of like a regular instead of a radio engine. Man, that's a lot of weight. 1,690 pounds. This is a Packard V1650 Merlin engine. And this one weighs exactly the same as the other one. Wow, that's coincidental. A Type B22 turbo supercharger. Sucks air in, pushes it through the engine, more horsepower, I suppose. Here's a diagram of it. Now if we move towards the tail section, we have a Stearman biplane and a full-size P-51 with a red tail and a blue nose. Kind of looks like they clashed together the red tails from the Tuskegee Airmen Project and the blue nose Bastards of Bodney Air Squadron. Try to put those two together. Looks very cool. Very nice. There's some bombs that would be dropped out of the B-17, as well as the ball gunner. That's probably the worst position you could be in the B-17. You're strapped beneath the aircraft at 30,000 feet with enemy aircraft surrounding you. And if that ball got stuck, that was it. There's really no way to get out. If something was hit and it didn't want to turn or move, it's pretty much a write-off for you. So here we have the different stations of a B-17 group. This is the navigator, some of his equipment. Moving on to the radio operator, some of his equipment. We have a ground crewman, who's responsible for putting everything in the aircraft and getting it ready to fly. Some glasses, some manuals. We have the pilot. Of course, we have the pilot cap, scarf was worn, and again, another manual. We have the bombardier, as well as the Norden bomb sight. This guy was extremely crucial. So, we have a red telephone box. Of course, a telephone in there. And playing right next to me, they do have seems to be an episode of the Masters of Air series, which I don't think I can show, because of course that is owned property. Might get a copyright strike for that one. But yes, this is the Boeing Stearman PT-17 Cadet. You can read a little bit about it there. Pause if you'd like to read. Another thing about this place is they do serve lunch. I believe today is maybe pot roast or something like that. I believe that's what the person at the front desk told me, if I can remember correctly. Yeah, they do serve lunch, so you can have a bite to eat and look at some very gorgeous aircraft at the same time. Here we have a Union Jack, a hotel room key, this is the Colonial Group Art Gallery. It's a fuselage section of a B-24. Man, whatever they're cooking smells really good. Here we have Operation Tidal Wave, some B-24s dropping bombs on German manufacturing. Just look at how good these models are. Wow, very detailed. Of course, you have the fire and the smoke rising. You have a little German truck down there. Oh, look at that, and a guy taking cover. Isn't that a neat little addition, neat little detail there. Yeah, I presume this was maybe like an oil refining factory or something like that was bombed. It's the tail gunner portion of the B-17. Such a small area to be in. Very cramped. Bunch of wartime posters, and of course, classic Rosie the Riveter, We Can Do It. Getting those women into factories while men were going off to war to help build aircraft just like this. It's a wonderful painting of B-24s being attacked by German aircraft. Some wartime photos, as well as it looks like repair notes, or maybe data log notes. Small postcard and a picture. Again, against this great wall of facts. Look at that. All those guys lined up. This is very reminiscent of maybe a starter photo for, you know, the Masters of Air. Of course, you have the massive B-24 behind them and all these guys. Looks like the window section of some aircraft. No description, but if I had to zoom, it would be a B-24. And finally, Colonel A.J. Shower. Some artifacts. Part of the 467th Bomb Group. This would be the bomb load for B-24. 312 20-pound fragmentation bombs. Jesus. Of course, this is a little model of the B-24. Have some ground crewmen there, loading bombs onto the aircraft, getting ready for it to go on mission. And it looks like they may have overloaded it. The front is definitely off the ground. But I'm sure these guys are trained. They'll get it set correctly. Everything will be right before this aircraft takes off. Very neat. And here This is the interior of Fightin' Sam, a Ford-manufactured B-24E Liberator. Some specifications on that, if you want to pause and read. This is the cockpit slash fuselage of the B-24. See, that's where the top ball turret would be. About the same position as the B-17 over there. Maybe radio operator's position, the two pilots' position. Very neat insight into this aircraft. You can see there. And of course, there's a model of a B-24. I love the different colors on the engine cowls there. That's very nice. And this would be the ball turret. Those are, if I had to guess, maybe 30 caliber machine guns inside the ball turret there. And up above, we have a Messerschmitt Bf 109, the classic German aircraft of World War II. These things were an absolute menace to Allied aircraft. With it and the Focke-Wulf 190, and then in the later stages of the war, the ME-262 jet-powered aircraft going up against United States P-51 Mustangs and United Kingdom's Spitfires. These things caused unknown tolls of devastation on Allied aircraft. Nose portion of that B-24. Say Willis Jeep. These things are seen in mostly any World War II film. Very neat. Come over here. Here's a large drawing of a B-17 and its cross section right near the tail section of the Spirit of Savannah. And there's a look at the side gunner positions, the ball turret. This auxiliary power unit here. And of course the small tail wheel for this aircraft, propped up on a U.S. Army Air Corps box. We come over here. This is one of the bombs that have been dropped. This is probably a 500-pound bomb. A cradle to hold the bomb. I believe this is maybe some type of wheeling device to the aircraft, because obviously carrying that thing over, 100 feet from where it was stored to the aircraft or more, that would get pretty taxing if you had to do it 10 or 15 times per aircraft. And I believe these are all the people that helped restore these aircraft. Well, without them, I wouldn't be talking to you right now, I suppose. I'd be looking at a blank space. Another thing I love about this is this aircraft does leak oil. You see there they got little baking trays with paper towels to keep the oil off the ground. Come over here. There's some more photos. There's the actual city of Savannah. You can see the Kittle crew posing for Savannah Morning News on December 2nd, 1944. There it is at Hunter Field. This is the blessing of the city of Savannah. Here's a small painting of it flying over the Savannah skyline. And here's some information about when it was manufactured. This is Lieutenant Ralph Kittle's German POW ID photo, March 1945. And this is the original city of Savannah on its hard stand in Levenham, England, 1945. And there's the tail gunner of the city of Savannah, Sergeant Bob Warren. We're having some sort of guided tour over there, I believe. Serial number 44-83814. Current city of Savannah. So before its life here, it was used elsewhere. And there's the team. Some plating wear. And now we're going to be moving into the German POW slash UK home front portion. So that'll be exciting to see. So this is what a typical European house would look like. Perhaps the outside of it. I'm going to scroll down. You can pause to read this. We'll move up here. Courage and compassion, the helpers. These are all people who helped make escape from Nazi-occupied areas possible. Small wash tub. Small bicycle. I forgot to cover this while I was over here, but this is the uniform of Freddie Anderson. I'll read this here. Pause and read if you'd like. There are the medals he received: Purple Heart, Silver Star. And as we're back over here, this is a mock-up of a small European house that you can enter. We have a child's tricycle. Very well put together. An American parachute. Non-steerable parachute at that. You kind of just floated down to wherever you went. Again, the outside of the house. Decorated up for fall or maybe Christmas time. As we enter the house. Oh yeah. Very old, creaky floorboards. Antoine Garnier's gift to Ralph Patton. Looks like some money. Some francs. An old telephone. Chair. It's Johanna Maria Joke, Fulmer. Give you a second to read that. Pause if you'd like. There's the photograph of Miss Johanna. Some more photographs. Listening to a BBC broadcast was forbidden by the Nazis. This is radio of which you could listen to BBC broadcasts about the war, as long as you weren't caught. Have another small stool and a purse. And this exhibit here is under construction, but it's a china cabinet of sorts where you would store plates and dishes, I suppose. A child's chair. Acorn uses. Harvested acorns were ground into fine powder to use as flour to bake with. Flour was scarce due to the battlefront and Nazi food confiscation. Acorns were famously roasted and ground to make a coffee substitute. Coffee was extremely difficult to get. Yes. They would use acorns or sawdust or anything like that to ground to make flour to eat with. And of course you have some acorns in the bowl there. Lovely chair here. I bet it's so easy to get in and out of, you know. Shackleton's very nice ornate lamp. Probably bronze or brass or something like that. And here we have a fireplace. This was a gathering place of sorts, along with the radio for families. This is the equivalent of your large flat screen TV in your home nowadays. If we look upstairs of that, perhaps a bedroom of some sorts, a table and chairs, or maybe an upstairs hiding place. We have a little bureau over here. This lamp is very, very nice. Some fruits. These would have been holiday treats. But think about it now, and you can go to Walmart or Kroger and just pick up any fruits you'd like. But during the war, they were treats. Now, if you tell a kid these days they have to eat fruit, they get very and very angry at you. But like I said, back during the war, they were treats. There's another actual china cabinet. Now to look at it, yeah. You can store your fancy plates and dishes. Another child's chair. Some child's playthings as well, and types of drawings, crafts, I should say. These were crafts from the concentration camp that were done by women. Little shoes and little figures and other things there. Some more photographs. Then we have the dining table where everybody sat during Ralph Patton's, him being hid. So this would have been Ralph Patton's seat. Clayton David, Paul E. Kinney, John McCormick, James Anslow. I suppose Mr. McCormick would have had to pull up the Shackleton's high chair because it's so easy to get in and out of, you know. Moving this way. We have a bedroom. Another telephone. A bed. Small fireplace or stove. This is a secret compartment. Pause and read that if you'd like. Looks like we have a guy in there hiding. He's got a rifle over there. for any would-be assailants. Here we have a dresser or some type of dresser anyway. I'm just in awe of this. Taking all this in, I can't really find words to express to you some of these things. A lot of women's clothes in there. Here we have a window looking out and a chest where things would have been stored. It's a very nice clock. Maybe like a cuckoo clock or something. And that is the house itself. You're walking out the door here and go into the next section. So we're going to be moving into the POW section of the museum. And as you may be able to hear, they have loudspeakers playing German concentration camp guards screaming and yelling at prisoners. Really drives home the feeling. And then you have the entrance gate of the museum here, or sorry, the exhibit. Here you have some pictures and drawings of B-17 gunners. And like I said before, if you got stuck in that ball turret, it was all over. It was one of the most dangerous positions you could be in a B-17 crew. Here we have gloves of airmen, ammunition belt links with some rounds in it, some air wings. We have some patches here, Sam's blanket. Pause to read that if you'd like.
In the West, New Year's Day,
All these patches.
the Ardennes.
And then we take a look over here. This is what perhaps a living accommodation in a concentration camp would have looked like. So we have this fellow over here. He's staring out the window, possibly planning his escape. We have some guys in bed just trying to bide out their time before they get released. You can read that there. Pause if you'd like to read it. These fine gentlemen over here are enjoying a chess game with homemade pieces. And of course they have their cups made out of tin cans. We got this guy over here. He's got some Lucky Strikes, putting down some notes, has a radio headset on, using that clandestine radio to possibly relay his position or talk to someone. Moving over here, this is an embroidered handkerchief. Pause to read that. Suppose this is Thomas J. McGordy. Possibly a German tunic or coat there. The evacuation and liberation of these prisoner of war camps. So there's Stalag Luft 1, Stalag Luft 3, Stalag Luft 4, and so on. Looks like another handkerchief with B-17s embroidered into it and the American flag and all. So this is the main little exhibit for prisoners of war. Here we have some personal FX. You can see there, this is a cup made by POW Bill Clark from an Oleo margarine cup received in a Red Cross food parcel. This is a strand of barbed wire from one of the camps. Turning around. Some more chess pieces. This is a stove that would have been built in one of the camps for heat. See, Purple Heart, a blanket, knife, some type of armband. Here we have an American Red Cross Prisoner of War food package. Some pretty gnarly playing cards. A pack of crude cigarettes. Some more cigarettes there. Some boots. Burlap sack and some shoes. And a chest. Over here, we have a pretty destroyed Nazi flag, as well as a Nazi rifle, a Kar 98K. Look at how small that jacket is, y'all. Here's a Savannah Morning News clip out. War ends as Japan quits. Peace. Time magazine. And that, of course, is, we all know, war in Europe victoriously terminated. A world-awaiting proclamation of victory in Europe Day. Here we have a large captured Nazi flag. Trying to move a little quicker because the guided tour is catching up to me. So here we have some Air Corps sets, and there's a pipe for smoking, wings. Uniform. If we look here, if you've ever watched a Band of Brothers and know who Lewis Nixon is, then you'll recognize this immediately. The VAT 69, only the best for Nixon's little boy. A large remembrance area. Roll of Honor. Some of the names of the Mighty Eighth. And now moving out of that into a more aircraft oriented part. Here we have some tools to work on specific parts of an aircraft.
There's a peacemaker, I believe.
So looking here, we have a P-52D. These things dropped numerous amounts of bombs in Vietnam. And then turning right of that, we have the B-36 Peacemaker. Of course, the famous moniker, 6 turning, 4 burning. With 2 jet engines mounted on a pylon on each wing. You had 6 propeller engines pushing the aircraft. This was a nuclear capable carrying aircraft. You can see there we have some guys on the ground getting ready for a flight. Then moving over here, we have this large model of this aircraft that's just kind of stuck over here in the corner. The city of Charleston. It's not protected by anything. It's just on a little tripod. I'd almost like to ask if I can take this home. It doesn't look like it belongs to anything. Have that sitting in my living room. Quite a conversation starter, I'd say. We have another uniform here, as well as a dagger and a map. This is a B-4 bag, issued to Lieutenant Colonel Francis S. Gabby Gabreski. Here we have a wing of some aircraft. Very cool. Then over here we have some more boots and gloves and cap and goggles. Now moving out of this room, we're gonna go straight, go back past the aircrafts here, the model ones. Again, very strange that just being there, but here you have a P-51 and a BF-109 or ME-109 dogfighting. Looks like that BF-109 or ME-109 is getting pretty well getting licked. And of course the P-51 Mustang on its tail with all 6 submachine guns chattering away. Here we have some more jackets. Over here we have a statue called the Crewman. Some more models of P-47 Thunderbolts here. We have the bubble canopy variety there on the left, and then the regular other 2 next to it. Some wonderful pictures. Again, I invite anybody who's even remotely interested in aviation to come to this museum and check it out. It is a time. '56th Zemke's Wolfpack Fighter Group. So this is the 388th Bomb Group. You have the Misfortune jacket there. And a B-17. Going directly across, the 7th Photo Group. Of course, a F-5B Photo Lightning aircraft, which is a P-38, just equipped for photo reconnaissance. Another one of their jackets and patches as well. The actual photo taking camera there. Coming right back across, we have the 356th Fighter Group with their P-51 Mustangs and P-47s. Turning around, we have the 491st Bomb Group. I love these stained glass things they got here. Very nice. Moving this way, the Scouting Force. Uniforms, jackets. B-51s.
Very historical.
This is the 20th Fighter Group. Turning around, we have the 93rd Bomb Group and one of their B-24s. Lieutenant General Edward Julius Ted Timberlake. There's a bust of him there. We keep going. The 379th Bomb Group. Modeled there, B-17s. Looks like an all-metal model, actually. That is very, very neat. Some goggles there. The Norway Flyers. Little oxygen tank. (352nd Fighter Group). Small little models of P-51s there. Helmet and breathing apparatus. Jacket and looks like a pistol holster. Keep going. We have the 94th Bomb Group. Some more daggers and boots. The 303rd Bomb Group. Another jacket there. Hell's Angels. The 452nd Bomb Group. Colonel Liz, I want to say. Is that what this is? (359th Fighter Group). some more. These look like wooden models here. Yeah, solid pieces of wood. These are made while pilots were not flying. They simply carved them out of wood. And the last one here is the 100th Bomb Group. Another beautiful stained glass piece here. You guys gotta remember, this is one of the most decorated bomb groups of the war. The Mighty Eighth was. We have another large model of a B-17. One's called Big Dog. Very cool. All right, everybody, we're back outside, and you can see it has cleared up a lot. That's very nice. This is the Memorial Gardens in the back here. Ooh, that's a lot of water. I'm gonna have to walk this way, I'm afraid. But we're gonna be going to look at that aircraft that was back here that we saw the tail section of in the beginning of the video. Yeah, this is very wet, as you can see here still. Reflection pool. These are all dedicated to crewmen and crews of different bomber groups. And like I said in the last section, the Mighty 8th Air Force is one of, if not the most decorated bomb and fighter groups of the entire war. These men flew countless missions into enemy airspace. A lot of them never came back home. And there's a thing said about war that speaks to me a lot. It's that boys leave for war, but men come back home. Of course, I don't know if you can hear the large interstate next to me and aircraft. The Savannah International Airport's directly over there. So maybe we'll get some videos of some aircraft taking off there as well. But this is a nice place to reflect and take in all of this beautiful scenery, and to remember the fact that a lot of these guys never came back. Go visit a portion of this wall here. Try not to get our socks wet. I do apologize for the loudness of the interstate. It is right there. But and I believe this wall is double-sided. There is another walkway on the other side. But once again, this video, it really doesn't do justice to this museum. I encourage anyone to come and sit and walk and visit this museum. It gives you a true sense of it all. Be very careful walking here. About a half inch of standing water. Here's a wall of names from different bomb groups. Some of these guys came back home, some of them were KIA. So, unfortunately walk in the grass because it is a little higher than the sidewalk. It's a little bit drier. We can get around to here. We have a small rotunda there. You can just sit. Some more names on the wall. And as we approach through here, we have the B-47 Stratojet, the largest aircraft at the museum, only rivaled by the B-17. Some more names on the wall. So this would be a precursor to the B-52 Stratofortress, of which we've seen a model earlier. It's a very large aircraft. As you can see, it's not a typical bomber cockpit configuration. It's set up above like a jet fighter would be. And that, of course, was for visibility. Another plaque. You can pause to read that if you'd like. We have a WASP friend here also enjoying this absolutely humongous aircraft. It's a huge airplane. Two engines mounted on that pylon, and then on the outer pylon you have a single engine. This was a 6-engine altogether aircraft. That's the end of that engine there. Going to the rear of the aircraft. Oh look at that. There's a A-10 Thunderbolt 2. It's the, oh, seems we have another one. Wherever he is at. Oh, there he is. Wow. Very neat. Awesome. So, anyway, going to the back of this aircraft, you can see it has the almost exact same setup for its landing gear as the B-52 does. See there, it has one set of gear here up at the front, and then it has smaller gear on the pylons. Now on the B-52, these are doubled for a little bit easier landing. But this was the precursor to the B-52 that is still flying today. The B-52 is actually projected to be the only aircraft in United States Air Force service to fly for a solid 100 years. We have the inside of the stow compartment for the B-47. It's the same thing on that side. You have the 3 engines on that side. You have the 2 mounted on the one pylon, and then the outer one. Absolutely gorgeous aircraft. Well, looks like we got us another aircraft coming overhead, perhaps. Oh, no, look. There's a flight taking off from Savannah. Very nice. Looks like American, maybe. I'm not too sure on You know, the updated liveries for American and Delta and United and all that kind of thing. There he is again. So that building right over there is a chapel dedicated to the Mighty Eighth. Unfortunately, I don't have time to go in there, and I actually do believe it is closed today for a private ceremony as well. So unfortunately, we can't see into that, but of course you can see it there. We're gonna be making our way back to the museum and wrapping this video up. Here we have a monument to the Korean War, the Forgotten War. It really is. Whenever you hear somebody speak of war, they always speak of World War II or World War I or Vietnam or Afghanistan, Iraq, those kind of places, but no one really talks about the Korean War. We have some more plaques dedicated here. And if I remember correctly from my last visit here, there is a special plaque that I wanted to show you guys. There's another one. The Ye Olde Pub. I remember that one. We'll have to get through some water, I'm afraid, but that's really not a problem. Here it is right here. This is a recreation of the headstone of James H. Doolittle. Medal of Honor, U.S. Air Force, World War II in Korea. Born December 14th, 1896, and died September 27th, 1993. Silver Star. There's another one over there dedicated to him. But this is a really nice area, especially with this weather, to come out and sit and look at all this and take a breather for a moment. Well, guys, I really hope you enjoyed that video. That was the tour of the Museum of the Mighty Eighth Air Force. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And once again, I encourage you to come check this place out yourself. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.